welcome you to another episode of the Andrew Glowczewski Experience, episode 96. This morning, you're catching me super early in the morning, not a problem. Um, I wanted to do a little vector illustration. I'm in the middle of doing a logo design, and a part of it is going to be an illustration of a car. And if you're gonna work in logos and graphic design and branding and all that stuff, it'd be best to get familiar with the vector illustration. Um, so yeah, this particular logo, at least here, I've cropped out a lot of it so you can't see anything but the part that we're going to be working on. As you can see, I got like a super rough sketch here of a car that I did, and that sketch is based off of this this car here that I've recolored from its original source and took out the background from its original source. Things like that. I've been working on this one, for just a bit now, and now I'm getting ready to finalize the design. So the lettering is not a problem. That's already done, but I'm not going to be showing that off just because. And yeah, we're just going to focus on the car and the illustration here. Now, yeah, this is for graphic design and branding and things like that, but you can also just do it for vector illustration in general. Vector really comes in handy just because it's a type of art form that you can scale to any size, which has its pros and cons. And if you're definitely getting into the print industry, I've done graphic design and printing for a little over a decade now, and I'm completely self-taught, things like that. I've trained people, I've taught people how to do it. People who actually studied the medium, so I'm fairly proficient at it. But what I'm gonna want to do today is I was thinking about just redrawing this completely, and that's what I've been going back and forth with for the past 24 hours. Is am I going to draw this by hand, or am I going to how am I going to go about doing this? So I decided, since it's ultimately going to end up being digital, I said, why not just do another digital illustration? Hence the vector illustration, even though we're starting here in Photoshop, which is not vector, it's raster, or pixel, whatever you want to call it. We're going to start here. I'm going to set this up. I'm going to transform this actual photograph of a car into this kind of more cartoonized bit. At least I'm going to make an attempt to try to make that photograph match my drawing more. And then I'm going to bring it in to Illustrator, where I have some of the work that I did. You can see here on the layers where I did the rough parts, and now I'm just going to be focusing on the digital part. Actually, I don't even need that layer anymore. And then it's just going to be dropping what I do here in Photoshop into Illustrator, and then I'll do the vector illustration there. So yeah, you're getting a little bit of vector illustration, but you're also getting a bit of the I guess cartoonizing of an actual vehicle. This is actually going to be interesting because I don't know how it's going to work. That's part of everything and anything that I do. If you watch my channel, you know that I kind of figure things out as I go. I kind of practice by doing, and I'm always learning on the go. So I have an idea of how this is going to work. I may need to break this car down into like 3 pieces. I'm not exactly sure. But I have some ideas, and we're just going to execute them. This could go super well on the first try, or it can go terribly. And, I'm not averse to having, uh, problems with my art as I'm streaming. Like, it is what it is. It's all a learning experience. Nobody's perfect. And I think showing that, this stuff you know, isn't all that easy. and that it's always just a learning experience is actually just as useful as showing things perfectly. Worry about things as they come. Exactly. What's up, JJ? So yeah, let's uh let's get started, and basically what I'm gonna want to do, I guess I'll pull up the magnetic tool. I'm gonna throw on some documentaries in the background, and I don't know. I hope the volume's on low enough. If anything, I'll end up lowering it. But yeah. So while I work, I'll be listening to that. Glad you're doing good, man. And I'm just gonna grab the frame of this car for now. I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna skip the tires because the tires are gonna be doing their own thing. I'll explain that later. All right. Yeah, I'll fix this selection as I go. Let me come down here. I'm just using the magnetic lasso tool. You know, it's useful. It doesn't always get things perfect, so if you're looking for precision, which I'm not at the moment, uh, you know, you might be interested in either the other tool options, the polygonal tool or the just standard tool, standard lasso. Okay, so we more or less got the car. We're gonna want to clean up some spots, like include this antenna for car accuracy. This car was requested specifically, so that's the only reason why I thought it'd be best to go with this photo rather than just drawing it straight up. You know, you could be the most talented artist, but if you're not like a car expert and know how to do like vehicle design, like, you know, professionally and on the strongest levels, then you know, pull directly from the source. Just pray that whatever angle or whatever you're trying to do exists out there. You know, fortunately we have the internet, and there's plenty of resources on the internet. And this doesn't have to be perfect, but I do just need to get the car for the most part. Um, Where's my phone blowing up? Um, oh, okay. Sorry, I was checking my phone. See who's contacting me at this time, you know? Oh, I had this World War II stuff playing in the background when I was a kid, because my dad was in the army. He I was always interested in the army, never interested in actually like joining it, being a part of it, but just always doing reports on it. I always thought that the history of it was all good. I did reports on like the Red Baron, did a ton of reports on World War II. I mean, it's like that. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Volcom? Can you download OBS Studio to stream on your PC? No, I cannot. I do not have the technology for that. I may be able to. Um, I do, like, I'm working on a Mac right now, and my brother was kind enough to give me his old PC laptop. So I have a Mac laptop and a PC laptop, but I think, in order to connect them, in order to do the OBS stuff. No, 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 no. I guess what what's going on in order to do like OBS and stuff like that is you need to have two computers. Um, so yeah, any streamer that you see who's doing that stuff, at least from my understanding, like when I looked into it and was trying to do that stuff, you need to have two computers. And right now, the only two laptops that I have are incompatible. I may be able to connect them with an adapter. Hmm. You can do it with a single PC? Really? Would I have to go through Twitch online, like on the website? Because what I do now is I just stream from the app. So I do what is it, IRL or something like that? All right, so I have a tight selection. I'll just expand it by 5 just so I can kind of get a good bit of border around the car, but at least it's like fitted to the shape of it. You download OBS Studio, log into Twitch on there or something. I don't remember. Yeah, I looked into OBS. Um, when I started the channel. Like I said, I don't know. I ran into it saying like, oh, it's not gonna work. You need to have two PCs, something like that. But hey, if not, I'll look into it. I'll look into it for next time. Okay. So I got my car cut out, and just so we see what that looks like, I just have this. I took out the tires for now. Really don't need them. I probably could have kept in the back tire, now that I think about it. Yeah, let me do that. So it's 2 years ago. Nice. Same car, same color. Nice. All right. So yeah, let me just include the back tire since that's not going to be moving. So I have that. Let me turn this back on. And you know what? Let me turn on pencil. And cut all this stuff out. And basically, I'm just going to be warping that photograph of the car to this odd perspective. Now, the thing that's going to happen and why may not work exactly is just because this little cartoon drawing that I have of it is going to be is operating off of one perspective, and it's a really loose perspective since it's like a sketch, you know? And the photograph of the car has its own perspective, which is obviously like really good because it's a camera. And the robots can do perspective a lot better than people can. If you ever watched that movie I, Robot and you saw that robot draw a picture, you saw that how fast and how detailed that robot was able to draw that picture. Uh, yeah, that's the same difference between drawing a picture in perspective and just taking a snapshot. But yeah, so this is basically like a cartoonized version. Now I'm gonna take this realistic one. And hey, I had to adjust the color on this photograph. This original car was actually red. I just changed it to the cyan color because of the color that the client wanted. Since I've watched that movie, but yeah, I get what you mean. It's like using a Lightroom to make panoramas. Exactly. So yeah, let me keep an original just in case. And take this one. And just for now, let's see what we could do with some basic. Bring this down. Yeah, definitely gonna have to break this car up then. Yeah, it's just as I thought. I'm gonna have to break this car up into a few sections. And yeah, so the tail's there. And here. Now I wonder how I can do this. Now I know in Illustrator, yeah, so just so we can see that's where the car actually looks like. And this is just with some vague stuff, but I need to really push that down. I know how I could do this in. Yeah, let me see something. Make a copy of this so I don't lose it. And yeah, see, I'm good with how the back lines up, but like I was saying, this is probably gonna have to be broken into three pieces. Is exactly what I meant. So yeah, I'm gonna have to dissect this car. We'll keep this rear fender all the way to the tail. And bring that Fender over. Fender over. And then the same thing. Take this front end out. And let's see what we got going on. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm still gonna have to adjust that a bit. Okay. Bring that, angle that a bit. Where's the windshield? Here. Yeah, I keep running into the same issue. I wonder if I should have just brought this into Illustrator and started warping it, so that way I had more options. That may actually be what I end up doing. Warp in Photoshop? Um, Maybe. I'm sure there's probably a mesh somewhere. Oh yeah, let me plug in my charger, running on a low battery here. Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna continue to run into the same problem. So I wonder if I take this and turn that and trim off the edges, and then file save as, and just save it as a PNG. Okay. Yeah, I always use the mesh tool and warp tools over in here we go, in Illustrator. And yeah, this is what I was talking about as far as like all the perspective issues and trying to line up the cars, because in Photoshop it's limited to like a XY almost. And at least here, if I use the warping and meshing and stuff like that, there's a little more options for it. For instance, I can, instead of just using this box, which I thought was going to be enough to pull it around, but I didn't think about how this point here, in order to get it down here, I'm going to need to actually have a an option. So I wonder if I just split this into 2 columns and maybe just 2 rows. I don't even know if I need 2 rows. Let me try one. Keep it as simple as possible. And you see how this point down here for this line is damn near right on the nose. That's just whoever took that picture knew what they were doing. And yeah, just this line alone is going to give me, you know, twice as much to play with than I was able to in Photoshop. So yeah, I'll just have to Okay. And no worries, it's gonna get funky for a second. I just need to get all the pieces where I need them in order to match up with this drawing. But once they're there, see, you could already see how it's like so much better. Edit, transform, warp. You never used Illustrator? It has its ups and downs, you know, like there's things, I wouldn't say it's similar to Photoshop, but once you learn how to use them both in tandem, you know, you can do some pretty amazing things. So bring this. No, just give me the. Just give me the. There we go. See, so we get all the points where we need them. I don't know if this one is right or not. Yeah. I wonder if I can turn the transparency down just so I can see through it a bit. A little more than that, I guess. There we go. So I can kind of see my drawing underneath it. And yeah. And I was wondering if I should pull up an old job I did where I created vector versions of these cars. And I'm just going to be using that same tactic here, except I need to just morph this car into this cartoonish perspective before I do that. So that's all we're doing here. As soon as I get my come on. Really? Why are you not working for me? Come on. There we go. Oh yeah, so this has to stay up. Okay, so yeah, I might need more columns. I'll figure that out later. Cause see this line. Yep. So I'll need another row and another column for this. I believe. And there's like little rules to working with these, manipulating these points. But I think I need to break those rules today. Come on. There we go. So there's that. Haven't really used warp much in Photoshop, but it gives a 3x3 grid to warp. You can change that as far as I could tell. Yeah, with Illustrator, like if I drop this in again, and this is what I mean. You drop in, I have this PNG, I embed it, and then I have a quick key because I'm always using Mesh Tool for certain things anytime I need to do it. And it literally lets you pick how many rows and columns you want to use. So how many, you know, vertical dissections you want, and then how many horizontal dissections. I think I got those backwards. Horizontal rows are horizontal, columns are vertical. But either way, so like with the one that I'm using now, I did a 2x1, but I'm thinking I may need to do a 4x2. But the only problem with that is, it makes things a little more complicated. But I do get a little bit more points of manipulation. Like you could see here how my my rear view mirror is here, but I need it down here. And I don't need it there. I'd like it to be there though, to kind of mimic the drawing. And having this point here on this one is, you see how close it is to the mirror. I can manipulate that one and actually pull this mirror down, where the one I'm working on now, um, the 1x2 doesn't have that. So that's what I was saying. I might need to do that. I just wanted to try to get the shape first. So maybe this one will work now. I'll drop this one in on top and try to do a little bit of manipulation. Maybe I could work them both at the same time. Side mirror C. Man, you fancy. You know all them card terms. I'm just an artist, man. I just know how to draw stuff. Outside of that, I'd be like, I don't know nothing. Alright, so yeah. Yeah, because this one will give me the overall shape. But yeah, things that are missing, like these details, I'll probably have to get with this car over there. Let me see, where are we at? See, I can almost get that. Almost get that. So are you trying to fit the wheel in the sketch to match with that? Or just outline of the car? A little bit of everything. Just try to get everything as close as possible. The outline, um, this wheel being a part of it. But yeah, you can see I got the mirror damn near lined up with just this much. So maybe right. Because yeah, it may not be perfectly car accurate, but at least. Okay. But now we need to. See, now I'm running into issues over here. And where are we at with that? Okay, so that's pretty much on point. Oh, wow. So yeah, I'm not going to be able to get this with this tool. Because I was able to get this mirror close, but then it threw this mirror way off. So I got to find like a happy medium. Let's see if this one's just below, that one's just above. I wonder. There we go. Go. Yeah, let me see. So this one I'll probably bring up like that. that bubble. Right here with that. Okay, so that works. And now, okay. Cool. So now if I turn the opacity back up on it and erase the background, see how funky this thing looks. So you can see with the warp tool. Oh yeah. You can see the original and how, you know, you give it this funky shape, but yeah, I can probably adjust this a little bit more. And yeah, let me bring this back down to 70. Bring that down. There we go. Trying to line up the wheel fender here, but also the light. And that was the thing. My sketch is such a loose sketch. I don't want to, you know, don't want to treat it like it's the Holy Bible or anything like that. But more or less just get the, all right. So yeah. That's just above, just below. Handle is damn near where the handle should be. So yeah, this is probably as close as I can get it. Let me double check it. Let's see what I'm working with. And how is it different? But yeah, you can see I flattened this out now that I'm looking at my drawing. This is why I was like, you know what, maybe I don't draw it just because there's like, you know, vehicle design things that I just am not aware of when it comes to this specific model car. That's why you manipulate the photo, so that way you're keeping all the pieces there. And then I try to use the least amount of modifiers when I, you know, the mesh tool. That's why I wanted to avoid this, because I could like tweak everything and then everything will start to look like, you know, it's like rippling water or something. Um, that's why in Photoshop I thought I could use the transform tool when it's just like one box, but since that didn't work out because I wasn't able to get this aspect down here, this corner, that's where this two box system kind of came in handy. And yeah, I'd say this is probably what I'm gonna want to work with. Just because, yeah, now that I look at my sketch, I hate it. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, this is what it should have been. Had I sketched something more like that, I probably would have, you know, would have been a lot better. But yeah, that sketch was super rough. Okay. So yeah, now what I do is yeah, throughout this entire stream, Volcom, I'm gonna be thinking about that OBS stuff that you had mentioned. Um, just I was running into issues because yeah, that would have been the first thing I wanted to do, or else I'd be doing a whole lot more digital art. Um, but yeah, it seemed like I was kind of stuck with just streaming IRLs and streaming directly from my iPad here, or not. It's not an iPad. My tablet. Okay. Yeah, so I can delete that. I can turn that off. And honestly, I kind of wanted to get these fixed up. What is that? I don't need that. And I wonder. Do I have that reference in here? I was looking up, there it is. See, I was looking up drift wheel marks, and just seeing, I was like, wouldn't the tires run over each other at some point? And it was like, oh, for sure, they do that. So I was like, okay. So as this like whips around, the tires close in on one another, and then they'll open back up eventually. So yeah, that's kind of what I need to create there. I wonder if I'll be able to do that now, or if I should just stick with the car. Copy those. There's the front. Do that. Merge them. Copy paste in front. See, I hate all these points. I hate that they did that. So yeah, let me isolate this, move from everything, and just get what I need. And get rid of all those points. It's good to get funky, but I still have my reference lines running behind it. The thing when you're working with vector stuff, like if you're working in Illustrator, you want, it's you still want to keep your files a safe size. Here, so I'll get rid of all these. And what makes vector art is the fact that it's point based. All these little points that you see me selecting and deleting at the moment, or the, in the mesh tool you saw me manipulating those points, things like that, is that's where all your data is going, and that's what's going to determine your file size when it comes to vector, is, and that's what makes vector vector. That's why you're able to scale anything that you do vector to any size, and it still maintains its sharp quality. So you could work extremely small or extremely large, and it wouldn't make a difference really to the file size. It might make a little bit of a difference, but we're talking minor. But it's all based on the amount of points. You could have the same exact image with 3 points, or like you could have an image with 3 points, and then the same exact image with, let's say, 300 points. Well, the one with 300 points is going to be far bigger, maybe even hundreds of times bigger than the one with 3 points. Not that I think you can actually create something like that, but I was just saying that as an example. What's going on here? Are you guys not manipulable? There we go. Oh, the concept of the vector art stuff. Oh, maybe I didn't explain. But basically, these little points are what make up your file size, um, because vector art is just a system of points. So it's not a system of measurements where if you're working in Photoshop, things blur out. See, like you zoom in and you get all these blur stuff. It's because it's raster art. It's pixel based, all the way down to these pixels. So if you grow, if I selected this image, hit like select all and transform and scaled it all upwards, these pixels will blow up, but it'll just blow up this image, and the pixels will grow with it, meaning that pixel, that single individual pixel, will not become, 4 pixels, 16 pixels, 32 pixels, so on and so forth. Like the pixel count won't go up, the pixels will stay the same. And because just like me zooming in really blurs it out, blowing this image up will blur it out. You're kind of That's why it's important if you're working in Photoshop and you're working in print to have 300 dpi, so that way you have enough pixel count in order to still maintain a good quality picture. I mean, some printers like to go crazy with it, do 450, 600, even more so, but that now you're dealing with like insane file sizes. 300 should be good enough for anything that you're trying to do. Any good printer, graphic designer, uh, should be able to handle things like that, know how to keep a file size as small as possible. Even if it is a really large file size, you got to keep it as small as possible, but still maintain that print quality. Now, I did a picture the other day of one of my characters, and I vector illustrated them just like I'm doing with this car today, and I kind of demonstrated in there. But I'll just take this shape, even though it's not anything, because I'm still in the middle of using it right now. But see this shape, and just so you can see, I'm working it with a really small artboard. No reason to work big if you don't need to. Uh, this square represents, I think, 227 inches or something like that, which amounts to however many feet, like 19 point something feet, in the real world. And now I could take that same image that I'm in the middle of working of, scale it up and to 18 or 17 foot. What size is this? 180 inches tall. So 180 divided by 12 inches is what? 15. So this is a 15-foot thing, and if I zoom in on it, I just scaled it up, a ridiculous amount. But if I zoom in on it, you're not getting any pixelation. It's still a sharp, nice, fine edge. All those little pixels, they don't exist because this isn't pixel art. That's where working in vector comes in handy, but then you can't do things like, use a soft edge brush to do like nice paintings and things like that. Again, both systems have their pros and cons. All right, so I wonder if I even need this, or like that one. I feel like I do. go. Posters and billboards and shit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll have to fix this up a bit. I wonder what I'm missing. Let's see. Ah, because it becomes one. So that's what I'm missing. I can get rid of that, get rid of that. There we go. So it'll end up having to be something like that. But you will have to... Yeah, I don't need you anymore. Oh yeah, so I still need you there like that. Okay. So that's more or less that effect. To kind of get the tires going from 2 to 1 and then separating back out to 2. Even though I'm not even sure if I need to separate it back out to 2. I've been questioning that since I designed this thing. But the client liked the 2, so it's like, okay, we'll keep it in for now. Now for the vector illustration part, the whole point of all this, everything that we've been doing, everything from isolating, the background from this image to, this didn't work out because I could only manipulate 4 points instead of 8 like I needed. Or 6, I guess. So going from here to dropping it in here, morphing that. Now to the nitty gritty, what I came here to do. I wonder if we're good with this. I mean, we should be, right? I like the back end. I like the bottom. Like I like everything on the back end here, everything on the bottom here. I think is an improvement. The only thing I'm kind of just double checking right now is an area that I wasn't able to get perfectly how I thought it would be, but it's still, car accurate, which is super important. Like if I take this, come on. Like I'm worried if it looks too much like a Porsche. But yeah, I'll just let it ride. Do you know what this is going to be used for? Yeah, it's a logo. I'm designing a logo for somebody, and they wanted to include this car, so we're, you know, I just didn't want to show the entire logo. Obviously, brand name and all that other stuff, like, kind of, like, let that stuff be. Alright, so I can delete these layers. I don't need those anymore. And now it just becomes about recreating this, but all vector. And this is how you go about doing that. I have a system that I use with the pen tool where I mean, basically, I'll just do a simple explanation. You can have a circle tool where you create a vector circle, and this is, a circle. It's almost like a perfect. It's like a perfect shape. You know what I mean? It's not oblong. It's not like it's a. It's not an oval or anything like that where it's like slightly imperfect. Like, it's a perfect shape. It perfectly angled. It's not wonky. Anything like that. And if you look at it, there's only these 1, 2, 3, 4 points. This point in the middle is just an object, whatever, like an anchor point. Uh, but these 4 points create this perfect circle shape. Now, you can have a perfect circle with, all the points in the world that you want, but the 4 points is the minimum amount. And like I was saying earlier, you want to have the minimum amount of points. That's why I deleted all those points when I was working on this. Get them all out of here. Didn't need them. Created a much smoother shape um, without it, without all those points. Just like when I was working with the mesh tool, I wanted to work with the least amount of points. Keeps everything smooth, keeps everything cohesive, and that's what I'm doing here. Now I'm going to be turning this into a vector illustration. It's going to take a bunch of time, but the whatever. Yeah, the whole point is to keep the least amount of points. So going back to the circle, what I always train people and teach people, so this is kind of something like a free lesson, is notice where these points are. They're at the topmost part, the the most right part, the most bottom part, the most left. For instance, when you create the circle, it doesn't create it, on an angle where your points are on these odd 45-degree angle areas or anything like that. You know, that would be kind of crazy and a little bit harder to manipulate. Maybe not 45 degrees would be so hard, but if this was like on a 30-degree angle or anything like that, and then trying to manipulate these points and maintain this perfect shape, it'd be super impossible. You know what I mean? The second you start playing with it at all is, and then you try to get back to a perfect circle from here, you're screwed. Where, if you work with a regular circle, yeah, I mean, everything's there for you in this shape. So I just take this concept for a simple shape like a circle, 4 points minimum, but it's a perfect circle, and now apply that concept to any and all designs. So now I'm gonna create the entire outline of the frame of the car. I might do the wheels separate, and using the same concept. So here's the bottommost point. You can kind of tell it's the most bottom part because you have all these pixels. I don't know if you can see the pixels, but you have these pixels and they come down, and then you could see right here it goes from coming down to going back up. So this is your bottommost part. So anytime you see me apply a point, it's because I'm recognizing that it's either the bottommost, topmost, leftmost, rightmost point in the angle that I'm trying to get. And yeah, it'll come together once I start piecing things together. Now I'm gonna be having to add extra little points for little details, but that's because this is a specific shape that we're working with. So I just start with a point, give it some arms. Same thing here. Small point, go to the uppermost point here. Just give it some arms. It doesn't have to be perfect on the first try because it won't be. You're gonna have to go back and manipulate all these points. And yeah, see, like things like this aren't gonna be able to get the aren't going to be able to get that treatment. So I wonder if I even want to do that. Create that. Create that. Fix. There we go. All the way to here. Where I wonder. How do I want to do this? I'll just add the tail in later. The spoiler, whatever you want to call it. So there's that. Polygonal lasso, kind of. It's like if you're able to add these little arms to the polygonal lasso in order to create curved edges and things like that. But yeah, it's similar. Yeah, this will just be a simple shape at first. I'll add the light in later, or the light, the rear view mirror. What do you call that? Rear view mirror A or something? A or B? Is A the center one, and then B would be left, driver's side, and then C would be passenger side? Um, yeah, not really seeing one here. But yeah, we'll just get the basic shape for now. And then come back to the beginning, select it, give it an arm, and now you can see we kind of have the car shape. You know, if I change the color on it, kind of see the differences here. So we almost got the car shape. It's kind of there. You can kind of see it, but obviously a lot more points are going to, some points are going to be manipulated, other points are going to need to be added. And yeah, I'll probably turn the opacity down so that way I could actually trace the shape so I could see behind it in certain areas. Side mirrors are outside. No A, B, or C. Okay, come here. Come here. Alright, so we got that. And see now, anytime I add points, it gives me a perfect measurement in between these points. It's perfect measurement for the handles, I mean. And that's why I like to kind of just grab the base shape, kind of the outermost points, so that way I can add the minimal amount of points in between. It'll give me the right angles, the right arms, that way, you know, minimal amount of work. You know, trying to keep everything easy for ourselves, man. Don't make life hard. So you see like how there's a gap here between the windshield and my shape here. So I picked the spot that has the biggest amount of gap. I just add the point, it gives me the right the right arms that I need, and then I just bring that shape in, and it more or less conforms to the shape that I need. Same thing here, just to get the pop from the roof to the windshield frame. And yeah, wonder, same thing here. There's like a little pop. Boom. This, like that. Now, what I want to do, put a point here. Where's the handle? There we go. Yeah, you got this nice, super specific curve around these back tires here. Alright. Man, this shape actually worked out a lot better than I thought it would. Thought I was gonna need to do a bunch of work on this one, but maybe not. I had the center point here. And yeah, just move that and kind of get that shape. And there's a reason why I start off with this basic like envelope or enveloping the entire car first, is so that way all the other shapes inside, in case I need to trim them. Is this where I need that to be? Yeah. Okay. So any shapes that I need that fit within this shape, you know, I could fit them too, like especially ones like down here and everything like that. I wonder how much detail I'm gonna be getting into this. I don't know if it requires that much. Again, because this is for a logo, we don't want to get like hyper realistic with it, but we do want to get enough so that when people see it, it at least looks like, like a race car or a sports car. So you see, that's how we do that. And tires can be a little simpler, depending. Get the circle tool, kind of scale it left, right, top, and bottom. Now you can see obviously it's a little skewed off, so transform, shear, horizontal. Just skew it however much you need. So now you have that rim angle. Let's see how accurate we actually are with that. Bring it in. There's that. And then copy back again. Does that look right? You know what? This will probably have to come down a bit too. What pen pad thingy do you have? I use a Wacom one for this for my laptop. I have a large Wacom that's bigger than bigger than the keyboard to this laptop, or even just bigger than this laptop probably. Whenever I use like desktop monitors or anything like that, I just don't have a desktop monitor at home. So I use this laptop for now. You know, hopefully hopefully I can freelance enough and everything like that and become successful enough to afford, better equipment. So that way I can bring to you guys better videos and do OBS and all that awesome stuff. Okay. But yeah, for this for the laptop, I went and I bought a smaller Wacom one. I believe it's called Wacom one or one by Wacom, whatever. I don't know if it's pronounced Wacom or Wacom, but I like Wacom. Alright, so those are my tires. And bring that one up. So I have the rim, I have the outside wheel, and then the actual depth of the wheel. There we go. So that's going to be those shapes. I'll group those, drop them in behind the car. It showed a lot that were tablets themselves that were like 400. Yeah, you can, I mean, they have a bunch that you could draw directly onto the screen. Then they have like small, medium, and large. But yeah, I just got this one because you want your tablet or your Wacom whatever to kind of more or less match your screen size, so that way your hand gestures kind of match uh, the the cursor movements along the screen. So that's why I don't use my large one, because my large one is bigger than the actual screen itself. So I would have to draw like huge, and then it would make like small movements along the screen. It was like, why do that? Like, why not just get one that's a little more accurate, like the small one that I have? And yeah, but yeah, it was like $70. It's and it works. I believe I'm running into modifier key problems because of it, because of the whatever software updates and everything like that. Um, I tried looking up ways to fix it. Again, I'm not like savvy in those sort of ways, so I couldn't find it. But yeah, you could draw directly onto a screen if you wanted. Not here, but they sell those. I believe they're like Cintiqs or something like that. Anyways, let me get back to doing this and getting the shape of the car. So far this was like the easy part, was getting all these. Now the hard part comes down to like drawing all the shapes within this one. Oh, I wonder if I want that. And what do I mean by that? For instance, like this Fender, I could draw a shape just now loosely. Draw this fender end here. this fender end here. Come down, connect it. Look and make sure that we're good. And now I have the shape and it falls outside of the car, but something neat about Illustrator is I can crop a shape to another shape. And now I have that shape and it fits perfectly to the car shape that I created. And again, maintaining the minimal amount of points. So it fits perfectly to this. But now I can adjust this shape and edit it and color it however I want, outline it. I have the information now. Definitely look into getting one that's affordable. Wasn't wanting to spend hundreds to see if I like it. But do your work, don't let me distract you. Yeah, no worries, man. So yeah, I might do the same thing down here for this half. Kind of draw that, and connect that again. And go to the front. And that's all it really becomes a game of at this point, is just creating all the shapes and now cropping them to this envelope. You know what? Let me... What's going on here? Yeah, so I have my shape. Let me see through, make sure it's the right shape. You know, affordable is always, you know, it depends. It depends what affordable means. You know, right now I'm kind of just stepping out and venturing and starting this, starting my business. And, yeah, it's a ton of work. Ton of work, costs a lot. And yeah, even something like a, like $400 is steep for what I'm trying to do. I mean, I can use this Wacom that I have here on this laptop that I have here get a lot of mileage out of it. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's the journey at the moment. At the moment, it's just doing these things and getting to the point where, you know, hopefully somebody sees me doing this and is like, you know what, let me get that guy for a logo. That way I can build up a clientele, make me some monies, and then use that money to, well, primarily support the family, but secondarily, increase, make things bigger and better. I'm always talking about on these streams. That the end goal is definitely to what's going on here? Oh yeah. But yeah, one day I'll be doing that. I'll be doing OBS. I'll have a camera for me, a camera for the screen. Like have that whole professional setup like everybody seems to have. Whoa. That'd be the goal. Right now everything's just starting out. Maybe a little bougie. Okay. So now I have that shape. So yeah, it just becomes about that, man. So I created all this bottom fender stuff, and now create the shape of, I wonder if I want to get the rest of these fenders, just kind of work my way up. So yeah, it's that. To here. Ooh. That works for me, as well as starting this one. That, getting this fender. There we go. What's going on? Come on, man. Aren't you already up there? Alright, I need to start grouping these things together. Okay. So bottom. Way bottom. On top. Uh, so group those. Wheel. Envelope. This is Fender. Oh yeah. Okay. Now same thing. Create that. Come on. Where's that line at? There we go. Now start that, and that comes all the way down. But I want to do this. Yeah, bring it all the way. Bring it to here. Maybe I want to do it this way instead. Is that? That way. Bring it around. Alright. That worked out. And I wonder if I want to do that. Anyways. Top. The wheel weld. for sure. Everyone always starts out new. Like, you know a lot about editing shit that I don't know, but I know more about cars. Absolutely. Exactamundo. And yeah, you can see how the car slowly starts to be built. I had that side wall, that's what I just made. Um, this back wheel well here, bottom fender. And all of this is just to create the shape of the car in case I need, to include any of that information. Uh, how do I want to complete this? I'll probably just do it like that, right? And get this front fender. No. This is going to be one of those extra step joints just because everything kind of gets complicated around here. I imagine that's where all your money gets spent when you buy these high-end cars. Is you're basically buying all the architecture and design that goes into little areas like that, little little armpits of vehicles. So I do that. Now I use that merge tool and get rid of everything except for the piece I need. And then, yeah, that merge aligns this with that. So that way they're not overlapping. You don't really see the seam there. Oh yeah. Yeah, I definitely charge more for like logos and things like that. Yeah, because I do everything from like just logos like this to like branding, just depending on what people need. You know what? Look at that. that's that light. I could always just uh, whoa, what's going on here? There's that headlight. Okay, and now yeah, gmrdrew.art. Gmrdrew is spelled just like my name here, .art. That's my website. There should be a link in my bio, on my Twitch bio. But if not, yeah, there's definitely, I have like a contact me on my website. Yeah, I was just working on updating my resume um, yesterday. That's why I didn't jump on stream or do anything. Just because I'm you know, looking for work and doing all that stuff. Yeah, me. Oh yeah, should probably call that side fender. There we go. Front fender. That way I can turn that to 100. Merge those, ungroup them, delete that. And now again, have a seamless bit here between the hood as well as that front fender. But I still need to take out that side from the hood. And yeah, it's a bit of work, but what this does is set me up to be able to do anything with this car. For instance, I could design this thing several ways, but this is for a logo, so I'm going to design this initially for the logo. But if I ever wanted to just revisit this car and reuse it, I could redesign it in a completely different way, where maybe it's a vector illustration rather than a logo design, and I can reuse all the shapes and paths and everything that I'm making here and just make a completely different piece of work. And that way I'm not violating my client and just like taking his logo and reusing it for something, you know what I mean? So yeah, this is a bit of work and it's for the logo now, but you know, maybe I might want to do something with it later on. There's that. There's that. Maybe just put a point there. Put an arm there. Exactly. Like I may want to turn this into a vector illustration just to show that I can recreate cars, you know what I mean? In a vector format. So this car can serve me as like a, hey, I'm a logo designer, check out this logo. And people are going to be like, oh, cool logo, but they're not really going to say cool car. You know what I mean? Because there's going to be words and colors and, things like that associated with the logo design. But then I could do, again, since this is vector, I could blow this up any size. I could do a poster size vehicle car with all the shiny metal and everything else like that and render all that out, make it look super sick. I wish I could just pull up some of my old work, but it'll take some time to find it, and yeah, I don't want to do all that right now. Oh, you know what? I gotta make some coffee. Now that I think about it, it's about that time. Uh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, see? Now you can see all the layering that I did here on this side, but now that I'm working all here and everything is so integrated and fit and tight fitted, that's what I was talking about. And I was like, oh yeah, this is what you're paying for when you buy a fancy car, is all the tight fittedness and specific shapes and everything like that. I still need to go in and make some more, but yeah, you don't see all the layering happening here just because I'm creating the overall shapes. One shape is this fender, and then I'm gonna have to fit all these fender shapes within there. And then this hood, which has like little hood scoop here, that'll be fitted within there. And then I have the windshield, all of which is seamless. But once I run the cursor over, you could see there's like, there's actual three shapes here, even though it only looks like one or maybe even four since we're counting the side shape here too. So there's four shapes here, but you can't see them. All right. Like even this mirror here. You know what? Let me go make that coffee. I always tend to like remember these things, and then I'll remember them like 10 times before I actually get up and do it. So let me. You know what? Let me save also. Always save. Alright. Coffee is brewing. Oh, what's going on? Uh-oh. Maybe I should quit this. Do I need to save this? Yeah, why not? I'll just save that as the PNG. Oh no. There we go. Yeah, that. I don't need to save that. That was a failure. I don't think I even need Photoshop open anymore. Alright. So create this headlight. Whoops. Let me double check all this. And within this shape, we have like this upper half. And we also have this lower half. And is that it? Let me see. That goes in the back. It should go in the front. windshield. Technically, even the headlights are in front of there. So, yeah, that's probably all I need. Yeah, that works for me. Okay. Let's get this. Yeah, let me get this part. Here. And then get this little divot that's here with the window. Group. Delete you. Yeah, drop this behind the mirror. Okay. Now let's create this door finally. Wonder. Yeah, I'll just do it that way. Go all the way down here. Create this basic shape all the way here. Which will then I guess kind of come up this way. Let me get rid of that so I can kind of see this a little more clearly. And again, always keep your layers organized so that way you can kind of do things and see things and get everything that you need done in no time. Okay, so there's that. And there's that. Did I not connect these? Whoops. Round that out. Okay. Okay, how is this gonna work again? Oh yeah. because I have this window here. Okay, so yeah, the sidewall and the window. Look at those. Face the front. Yeah, this is gonna get tricky. That's what I need to do. Got it. So bring you down. Add a piece here. Bring that over. This weird door shape. There we go. Face in front. Take that, trim it. So now I got this proper door shape. But now I also, door goes behind the window, so the window's sitting on top. I'll need you. So I need a copy of you. That's what's happening. Copy front, you, trim there. Don't need you. Now you. Set you at 100. Merge. Now I just need you out of there. I don't need any of that. Okay. So that's door, window frame, and window. And yeah, now I just need to create there we go. Copy back, just like that. Front. Now I got the window, just the front. And now I could just hopefully squash and stretch this to match the car. So it kind of indents one there, and now copy going front and just a little bit more. And let me even take off the sidewall for now. Wonder if I should just take off all this stuff. Hood, windshield, mirror. Oh yeah, is that what just happened? Oh man, my Netflix is crashing. Come on, son. Yeah, this is gonna be that and squeezed into here, right? Because they're just the window. And your this part. Perfect. And you can actually come up some. What's that? There you go. Okay, so I need to merge you. You and you. Let's go. Turn that to 100. Merge that. Now I just need the back window now. Basically all I just did is created this window shape, but now I'm dividing it by, the front window, which is the door, and the back window area, which ain't much. Okay, what's going on with my Netflix? This is... Sorry, middle of texting people. Apologies. That works for me.
to send in the reserve troops the next day. He ends with the ominous words, issue in doubt.
What's going
Marines already.
on? Alright, so not going to work for me? It's just great. Guess I could always put Godzilla vs. Kong in the background, not that that matters. You know, I just kind of need stuff in the background, you know what I mean? Without getting DMC'd by, oh, it seems like my TV cast is down. Alright. So it's not a Netflix issue, I don't think. Oh, wow. Okay. Whatever, this is getting crazy. So my TV's down. And now everyone's contacting me at once. I wonder if I need to just end this. How long have I been streaming? Have you done any 3D modeling stuff? Basically like custom clothing in Grand Theft Auto? Oh, no. I haven't. I did 3D modeling back when I was still in college, when I was still learning. You know, I have a demo reel on my YouTube channel. It's really old. It's like 11 years old. Where the background, you know, I have 2D animated characters against a 3D rendered background, and I had to composite those together. But that's really the only 3D stuff that I have, um, like that you can see, but it's within an animation, so you know it doesn't really focus on it. But nah, I never built like assets or anything like that professionally. Like all that stuff is yeah, it's beyond me. Let me just create this. Man, it seems like everything's just crashing on me now. It's either crashing on me or crashing down on me. So whack too, man. I was enjoying that World War II stuff in the background. So where's my car? There you are. There's that. And same thing. There we go. But no, anytime I'm applying to like 3D jobs, it's never for modeling or anything like that. Like that's not my whole gig. Like I recognize some aspects of it, but it never really took, you know, I never really picked it up as far as like being good at it. I wish I had. I wish I had gotten good at it, but it just didn't seem to pan out that way for me. But I'll do like texturing and things like that. You know, I'll do the UV layouts and create textures and patterns. But even that, even though it takes a 3D understanding, it's still more of a two-dimensional art, you know, artwork. Good people to work from home. Keeping their career up for something part-time. People asking me crazy questions. Da, 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 da. Dang, man. My whole system is crashing. I'm sorry about that. I'd like to at least get something of a vector thing done, but it's not really too much 3D. Clothing already in the game, from my understanding, but make it fit the custom. Yeah. Yeah, like I can do all that. I just wouldn't know the avenues to take. Like I don't know where to find those UV layouts or where to upload them or take them down from or file sizes, everything like that. But yeah, I could definitely create something. Probably wouldn't be a masterwork. I'd probably have to keep at it for like a little bit just to get a grasp of how all that stuff works. But if you could do that, something you want to look forward to, I can get you in touch with big streamers that are looking for it. Uh, yeah, I don't think I'd be looking for something like that. I just wouldn't know how to go about doing it. You know what I mean? I could do logos, I could draw pictures, I could brand. I could help people brand themselves or their company or anything like that. But yeah, my education was like 11 years ago. I graduated 2010, and I just haven't had any luck with getting in the industry itself. So I really don't have any experience for that stuff as much as I would have liked to have had that experience. So yeah, it's a big bummer, you know. Or else I'd take you up on that and be like, yeah, absolutely, I'll go just get cracking on those. And that's the full envelope, right? Yeah. So I could drop you down there at the wheel. Oh yeah, why didn't I ever do that? So yeah, maybe I'll do something, but it seems like everyone's waking up at the same time in my life, and I need to go address them. I might have to cut this stream a little bit short, but let me see how long I've been streaming. At least make this a decent video. I know it's been maybe a couple hours. Uh, where are we at? Oh yeah, a little over 2 hours. That's not terrible. Yeah, let me just get this spoiler in, and then I'll probably call it a day at that. Just for the meantime. I'll be back later. I gotta check emails and, look into these people contacting me right now. So I could do that. Select you, copy, paste in the front, make you at 100, merge. As you can see, man, doing this vector digital illustration stuff is completely different, like, process than the traditional stuff you see me do when I have just like a blank sheet of paper, and I just start, I just get cracking on like a character. Hopefully, it's still interesting, and I have all these skills and everything like that. Of a particular set of skills makes me a nightmare for people like you. And at the very least, I hope it's interesting, for anybody who ever watches these things. Like, to just see what people are going through. Like, if you know a graphic designer who's doing things like that or anything. Here. Okay, copy, paste in front, clip to it. Alright. And that's going to be that spoiler. What is this? I don't need much from you. Let's call that the tail. And yeah, just a quick rundown. So this is what we started with. I did a little bit of work on that. And again, I don't even know if I'm gonna be keeping this tail piece. I might just keep this and then just let that thicken out. Um, you know what I mean? Since it's gonna be like the rear tires that are going, so that's a little bit more in line with it than having two, since it's not. The car design was different before, so, and having it go from this two, I like this 2 to 1, but I don't know if it if it really calls for God damn. Let me drink some water, man. I'm all dehydrated and shit. So I may need to fix that, adjust that. But other than that, let me go back. You can see all my layers here. I got a bunch of crap going on. So I'll just break it down piece by piece. So we did all the early stuff, the PNG, the warping, making it fit, da 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 da. Looks something like a Porsche, but um, yeah, I did this mirror. That was real quick. The tail, or no, this is the wheel. Got the wheel in the well here, and it's comprised of these three pieces as far as, having the overall wheel shape, having the wheel on the outside, and then the rim within that. And I have another trick that I do for rims. I have an asset somewhere where I got a bunch of rims, and then I'll probably just throw one in there instead of like redesigning all that sort of stuff. Like that's craziness. Let's see what else. This tail will probably go here. So I got the tail that you just saw me do, and then the overall envelope of the car. We got that. The sidewall. Which is, comprised of two pieces. The one that goes all the way up to the window, and then the one below it that's like this, gets this little accent in the door. Super nice. Super important. And then the wheel weld back here. Let me see if I can turn this off. Just back here, just real simple. Front fender. Side fender. Side fender should probably be back a layer or two. And the side fender is a little more complex than you'd think, but it has all these little tiny details in it. So it's the overall shape, and then the bottom piece that's kind of bent in, and then just these little like divots on the front and back end, and then I guess like the top half of it. A lot of detail, just as much detail will go into the front fender, but I'm not going to do that on this stream. But yeah, I'll get around to it later. Got the hood shape, windshield. I can keep the front fender in there. Hold on. Yes. There we go. So it's proper layering. See, I got the windshield, and then I'll throw a couple things into the windshield because there's wipers and everything else like that sitting on top. And then the doors where it gets like pretty complex. That's what I just finished. I didn't even group it yet. So there's a door, there's the top window. Yeah, this should probably go over the weld. I have the back window. Inside the door window, the frame to the door window, I believe. I know, so this one's the interior frame. That's where it kind of pops in, gives it that depth. And then this is the window itself. So yeah, I should probably group these together. So that way the door is all one piece. I'll have to do the door handle. And yeah, I'll throw the mirror in on that too. But yeah, I got this mirror, which is broken down into several pieces. Got the piece that attaches to the door, and then just the arm that sticks out from it, and then the overall shape of the mirror, and then you got the top, kind of whatever, and then the bottom. The bottom should probably be below the top. Oh yeah, intricate design stuff. I'll even drop the mirror onto the door, so that way it's all connected as one piece. And yeah, right now everything is just see-through because it's still in the tracing phase. But once I solidify everything, apply a color to everything, and then throw lines where I need lines, kind of like in between this hood and here, where there's like a definite break and seam and things, then the car starts to come together. And then headlights on top just because they're kind of the foremost thing on the car. But yeah, that's and then when I play the whole thing, that's that's what that looks like, man. You, even if I take out the picture in the background and turn everything on, you can kind of see the car coming together. You know what I mean? Super dope, right? Well, the two are rear tires. Oh, you're talking about the streaks. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, they're so far apart that I may just take this one and just thicken this line out and take this line out completely, because I don't know if this line is lining up, with this tire here, and this line lining up with this tire there. You see? So if coming in at this angle, these tires are probably aligned, like in perspective, like the fourth tire might be here. So the line should probably be cutting in here and this one this way. So this is almost accurate to there, and making it thick will just make it accurate to the back tire here. This one is kind of just running, you know, through the car, or like right in front of those tires, and it kind of really doesn't make sense. I'm looking at it wrong. You like the two? Hey, I'll just keep it at two. The client liked it that way too, so I'll just let it ride. But yeah, this is the vector illustration. This is how that stuff works. Oh, that this one comes to here, and that this one is swooping around to this tire. Okay. Yeah, I was just thinking about the where's that sample that I have? Yeah, I was just thinking about this. How the two lines come into one. But hey, I'll let it be. I'll leave it alone since it's already done. And once I get all the words and lettering in there, which is already done, I just have that layer turned off so that way you don't see it. Because again, don't want to give away this client's stuff. But I could at least show off all the tools and tricks and everything else like that. But yeah, this actually isn't bad, man. And you could see how, like, I was gonna hand draw this, and I'm immediately saying, like, you know what, maybe doing it this way is a lot better, because it's gonna be important. This car, the client picked out this car specifically, so it's like, you know what, let me be accurate to the actual vehicle. I don't want him looking at this and being like, oh, it looks like a Mini Cooper or some crap. But yeah, I think this is dope. Always got to save. Nobody's gonna know their drift lines. Oh no. Or tire marks. Well, again, this is still um, early on in the design. Hopefully, people will see tire marks by the time we're done here. Well, I'm just outlining everything. So that way he has like a high res fancy version, then a simpler version. Yeah, it'll probably just turn into lines like this. But yeah, let me group all this together too. So yeah, the car's looking decent. It's looking like that. Mission accomplished. Getting started at least, as far as taking this and tracing it. and getting the shapes. Gonna have to add a little more detail to the hood, just like I just did with the door. How I had to break the door down into its components. I still need to add the handle. Just add the hood scoop, and then the front fender. There's gonna be a whole bunch of detail that goes in around these lights, and then like the grill area. But yeah, other than that, man, I think that's going to be the end of this. We're at 2.5 hours. My coffee's brewed. My Netflix is crashed. I got to figure this out. And I'll be back later, man. I got to answer some emails and messages and things like that. And I'll be back later. But I want to thank you, JJ, for stopping by. Thanks, Volcom. Uh, Always a pleasure. And yeah, man, gmrdrew.art. Go check out my website. I don't have everything on there, but I have a lot of stuff. And I'm updating it all the time, whether it's merch or the concept art that I put together. And then yeah, other than that, G Mr. Drew on all socials. Follow, like, and subscribe. I'm on Twitter, YouTube. I'm on all the major ones. G Mr. Drew, same name everywhere. And you've been watching. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's what this guy wanted. You know, I don't argue. It's like that's what you want. That's what you're gonna get. Well, you've been watching the Andrew Glowczewski Experience, episode 96. We're damn near 100. Doing some vector illustration. Maybe I'll have this one done before I hit 100. Um, this may take 2 or 3 streams to finish all together, and then I'll have to, well, just the car alone. Obviously, not the whole logo. And then once the logo's done, I'll post it eventually, but I want to get it to the client first. And yeah, doing some vector illustration, man. This shit looks badass. I actually I love it when shit comes together like this. So super cool, man. Y'all have a good day. I'll talk to y'all later. Love y'all. Peace.